cure for my years of lack of energy, inflammation, my moon phase, and nobody was talking about this. And even worse, people were speaking out against this. Do I think that eating meat was the reason that caused me to feel better? In this video, I wanted to share my personal experience with the carnivore diet, how it cured my lack of energy, fixed my health problems, and I want to mention the things that I wish I knew before I started the diet. And I want to share towards the end that even though I saw crazy results in my own health in the 30 days that I did the diet, I made the decision to quit the diet, and I want to share why. I remember texting my husband one day and just sharing how I was just so chronically fatigued. I could take a fat nap in the middle of the day, and then by 6 p.m. I was ready for bed. That was it. And mind you, I was getting a full night's sleep. It's not like I had a tiny breastfeeding baby next to me. Funny thing is, every time that I would go to the doctors and I would mention this, would always suggest depression. They would suggest,
hey, you know what? You're a mom. We know how busy you are. Give yourself grace.
And I heard this for years. And to be quite honest, I was tired of giving myself grace. I had dreams, I had ambitions. Darn it, I had kids who wanted to play with me and I didn't have the energy. And although experiencing low energy had been such an issue for many years, I kind of grew accustomed to it. But what I wasn't accustomed to was my inflammation in my joints, which started at about 29, 30 years of age. I would wake up and my fingers, wrist, and toes would experience almost what I would describe as a flare-up. And I would attribute this to the weather, to my tiredness, to my excessive chronic cleaning. I don't know. I always had an excuse for why my joints would hurt. Oh, and here's another thing that they blame on being a mom. I started experiencing teeth and gum issues. So I've always kind of had not the best teeth. But in the last couple of years, I started experiencing what I would say severe gum inflammation and pain of teeth at night. And I would wake up from tooth pain in the middle of the night and I would have to take ibuprofen in order to go back to sleep. Now, I'm not excusing dental care. I do believe in dental care, which is why I started seeing a holistic dentist about 2 years ago. And one of my biggest insecurities that I was struggling with was something that everybody could see on the outside. And it's essentially this term that people call moon face. And it is the overall puffy round appearance of a face. For reference, I want to show you guys a picture of me that was taken at my job. This was a professional photograph that was done, and when I saw it, I cried. And I didn't cry because of some vanity thing, purely because when I looked at the picture, I had no idea who I was looking at. Like, I did not recognize myself. And I think seeing myself like this was mainly the tipping point. So on December 24th of last year, right before Christmas, I know, perfect day to start, I ended up looking at myself in the mirror and I saw someone who was grumpy, always exhausted, and I saw someone I did not like to look at. And I remember my husband saying,
babe, do you want to maybe like wait till the holidays are over?
And I was like, no, I am not waiting one more day. I am done. We are starting a fresh new chapter. If you're embarking on this journey, the one thing that I can tell you helped me stay on track was keeping a food diary. This was nothing that I invested in, no fancy app. I literally just opened up the Notes app on my iPhone and I started tracking day by day. And all I did was day 1, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I wrote down what I ate. And even if I messed up and I ate something that I wasn't supposed to eat, I still wrote it down because it helped me to visualize it, acknowledge it, and then do better next time moving forward. My first 2 weeks, I was extremely strict about keeping it to meat, eggs, and butter. I did not deviate away from this plan. And the one thing that really helped me mentally was knowing the fact that I could eat anytime during the day. It didn't matter when, how much, as long as I stuck to meat, eggs, and butter. And I never felt a sense of restriction in terms of being hungry, because whenever I start a diet, I think my biggest fear is like this insecurity about being hungry. And I didn't have that with this because I could literally eat whenever I want, as much as I want, as long as I was sticking to meat, eggs, and butter. And I would just want to preface this by saying I didn't eat the butter, I cooked my food in the butter. So the first 2 days were a breeze. I mean, I like whipped through them, it was not an issue. But then on day 3, that's when I started to feel the difference a little bit. I started feeling a sense of nausea and my leg cramps set in. I mean, this girl could not stand to look at another piece of chicken or another bowl of ground beef, but man, I just pushed through. And then along with the nausea, I started having leg cramps, and that's essentially due to a lack of electrolytes. And I'm so happy that on the internet, I found someone who recommended taking electrolyte pills or taking some kind of electrolyte supplement. I also could have drank a glass of warm salt water, but these pills worked wonders and they were super quick and easy, and they started to help immediately. Okay, by day 5, I did not know what a sugar craving was. I mean, all of my sugar cravings disappeared. I had absolutely zero desire. You could put a bowl of my favorite dessert in front of me. I didn't even want it. And the other thing I noticed that I started to need less food throughout the day, whereas before I could eat a solid 4 to 5 meals a day, my body was only requiring 2 to 3 meals to keep me full the entire day. Once my first full week was over, I mean, that's when we were breezing. I felt like I could continue doing this without an issue. By week 2, all of my nausea had subsided and my leg cramps completely went away without the need of electrolyte supplements, although they would not have hurt. Okay, this is the exciting part. After 2 full weeks of the diet, this is when people started to notice, right? So people would come up to me and say, wow, your face looks great. That was the number one comment people kept telling me first before anything, is that your face looks great. And I remember waking up in the morning and looking at myself in their mirror and being like, oh, hey, I remember you. And it was at this point that I also started noticing that I no longer needed my midday nap to get me through to the evening. And then the craziest thing is that my tooth pain had completely gone away. I mean, this is a whole different topic, but I ended up diving in deep of how the carnivore diet affects dental health. If you're interested in seeing a video about that, let me know. But the results and the information out there is absolutely astounding, and it shocks me that more people are not talking about it. So I continued to eat only meat, eggs, and butter for another week, at which point my body started craving vegetables. I remember looking at a cucumber and just salivating like a psycho. So at this point, that's when I actually started adding in cucumbers and greens into my diet. I would sometimes add a couple berries here and there, but mostly cucumbers were my saving grace because they're crunchy, they're fresh, they're good for you, and they really satisfied a craving for freshness in my meals. This is when I started really getting creative with my meals, and I essentially would think of my favorite dishes to eat and think of ways to make them carnivore friendly. And this became an exciting game of what can I make next versus viewing this as a restriction of what I can't have. My clarity and mental focus became sharper. Apparently not in this video. My clarity and mental focus became sharper. I asked Stacy, you experienced amazing health benefits, you lost weight, you saw improvement in the way you look and feel. Why did you stop? So I'm a proof is in the pudding kind of gal. I need to be convinced. I need to be shown that this was not just some kind of fluke or placebo effect. And unfortunately, to my detriment, I needed to see what my health would go back to if I stopped the diet. As I filmed this video, I'm on day 37 of not being on the carnivore diet, and I am miserable. About a week ago, my joint inflammation came back in my wrist and in my pointer finger. I am currently battling congestion, if you haven't already been able to tell by this video. I'm tired, I'm drained, and I'm really bloated. And just before filming this video, I had to pop a couple ibuprofen because my teeth are killing me and I need to be able to get through this video without tooth pain. So here's my face 30 days into the diet. As you can see, the puffiness has gone down. It is more sculpted. I look like myself. I feel like myself. And as far as weight loss, I lost 8 pounds in 1 month. And although it is nice to be 8 pounds lighter and a little bit more slim and to be able to fit into my jeans a little bit better, the biggest impact that it had in my life was taking off that inflammation. So in conclusion, let's wrap it all up. Here's my takeaway. Do I think that eating meat was the reason that caused me to feel better? No. What I do think is that the fact that I wasn't eating everything else that I had been eating before is what actually helped me to feel better. Because I limited myself to only meat, eggs, butter, and the occasional vegetables, that helped my body not to take in all of the other junk that it was taking in while I was eating the standard American diet. Doing this diet brought so much awareness to what inflammation does to our bodies, and your body becomes lethargic, exhausted, deprived of energy. You're unable to function, to think, and to live life to the fullest. If you enjoyed this video and you're interested in more information on how to make your body function more optimally, I highly suggest you check out this next video right here, where I dive deep into collagen and how it affects your body. As always, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe. I'll see you guys in my next one.